A man was sitting on an asteroid deep in thought. He opened his eyes and looked below at the stars. No one knew what he was thinking, but he did something that was amazing. He had a giant staff like he was some sort of ancient god. The staff swung in the empty space, producing lightning. The sound of rocks rubbing against each other could be heard, which breaks the laws of physics, and a planet was formed. The Aethan looked beautiful with mushrooms everywhere that are all sizes, with green grass, blue trees, and the sky was a bright pink. He made two beings, one of a hooded figure with no body, and a female with a pretty white dress. He told the two to populate his world and make it a paradise. So they did. A little girl named Sharon came into the world. She grew up having a unique personality. She will act scared even though she is actually very happy. She looked gorgeous too. The way her eyes glitter in the sunlight, the way she moves her mouth for no reason, and the way her voice sounds. She has unique organs with a square heart, lungs that are rope-like organs wrapped around each other, and a stomach that is round. Sharon had a wonderful life. She made a machine that can make different creatures to populate this world. This machine is called the Machine, and it helped to bring it to life. A ton of creatures came to this planet, one of a xenomorph alien with no legs and a green body. She called him ITT. Another of an animatronic bear named Yoshi. Other creatures were there too, like a mannequin with a happy personality, an older woman with beautiful candy cane hair, a dragon with grass for skin, a kid that is always looking angry, a werewolf that but has a hand for a head, the same way with the dogs, and a rat with glowing purple eyes. One day, Angry Kid was walking home from school when he noticed a young girl that looked angry too. He felt anger the more he stared. She noticed and screamed, "Why are you looking at me?" He felt more anger inside of him, then yelled, "I hate you!" She gasped and with a death stare said, "Thank you, I hate you too." He asked her if she was busy, and she screamed no. So asking very sternly, "Could we go out and get lunch?" Then she yelled, "Yes." Chapter 2. The Horrible Being. Angry Kid was on a date with Angry Girl, talking and getting to know each other. You know how love works. Behind the restaurant, a leak occurred that spilled a strange red liquid out of the pipes. A demon appeared to be growing out of the liquid. His eyes are the size of tiny rocks, and it was on fire like an asteroid. His teeth were broken and yellow like cheese. His skin was as hot as the sun and as red as lava. The demon has these two weapons called flails that are wrapped around his arms. The demon said, "I am the Noxen," and jumped out from the alley and smashed the ground. Everyone tried to run, but it was no use. He grabbed the creatures and electrocuted them all, making them attack their friends. Angry Kid went crazy and burned his girlfriend by shooting out flames and burning her. When Noxon was destroying everything, he heard the sound of a swoosh and something crashed into the ground. It had eagle legs, wings, human body and arms, claws for hands, and an elongated jaw, grinning and frowning at the same time. The creature looked tired. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. The entity's cop uniform looks like it hasn't been used since the beginning. "I hope you don't fall asleep during the fight," Noxon said to him. "I'm not planning on it." The two entities charged at each other, then Noxon grabbed him by the head and zapped him with his lightning. The protector's head shook wildly and he fell to the floor. One of the monsters said, "No, the protector." Noxon laughed, not regretting his decision. During this moment, Hoodweller was running with Sharon to find a way out, and eventually found a light called the Flylight. They say the light will fling you to space. He decided to do it. He flung her to space while she was screaming, "At there!" Before he could go in, the Noxon grabbed Hoodweller and dragged him away. He could hear the laughter coming from the person he might never see again. Meanwhile, the Eighth God found out what was happening and decided to try and stop him. He flew down full of power and said to stop. Noxon just laughed and jumped at the god, flinging his weapons. The god just grabbed the chain and threw him and Noxon's weapons back. The demon came out of nowhere and put an end to him. After all that, he didn't regret his actions. Instead, he laughed standing in his destruction. Chapter 3, Earth. A boy named Sam had autism. He was shy, quiet, and had these terrible meltdowns. He didn't mean what he does, but he feels bad for doing it. Once he prayed for God to help him through his pain, but it didn't work. He will forget about it tomorrow. Until next time. When he got to high school, the meltdowns just stopped, and after a few days, he started talking to people, getting to know them, and saying hi. Then he met a girl named Sharon. She was sweet, kind, and also very lovely. They fell in love. But he didn't know what her life was like until February 16, 2006, on his birthday, when people have been seeing a strange thing flying in the sky. It looked about 12 feet high, and they didn't know if it was evil or not. Sharon pointed to it and said, "The Protector." She started clapping, saying, "Daddy," then stopped and looked down crying. Her father asked if she was alright. She didn't answer. Instead, she ran to her room. A couple minutes later, her stepdad went into her room to talk to her. He asked, "Why are you so saddened?" Sharon got nervous to say, but took a deep breath and told him everything. His eyes went wide and his skin went pale. He just walked out and didn't say a word. After 2 minutes, he returned to her room and asked, "Did this really happen?" She nodded, then left again. She could hear them through the door, but when she heard, "Do you think she needs help?" she started crying, thinking of her father. In the morning, they were on a drive when some guy walked in the middle of the street and just stopped. They were going too fast to stop. Even if they did, they would crash. They had no choice. He hit the brakes and the car started to swerve, and then it just stopped. The thing that was on the news was right in front of them. It knocked on the window. They were terrified. The stepdad rolled down the window, and it looked in the back seat and saw Sharon sitting there. Its eyes went wide with shock and happiness. The Protector pointed to her and said, "Borrow." What are you?" the stepdad asked, and the thing replied, "The Protector." It told Sharon that her family needs help. Chapter 4, The Group. Stepdad, stepmom, and Sharon went with the Protector to a mysterious cave in the forest. In the cave, they saw 3 more creatures. One was a female officer, if you can call it an officer, with a hand for a head and an arm growing out of her back. The second is a male that was mixed with a buffalo, goat, and bear. Head, body of a buffalo, arms of a bear, and horns, legs of a big horned goat. The third is a moose standing up. The Protector pointed to the first and said, "Claw Angel, Chain Dweller." Sharon started crying and ran out. The Protector followed her and sat down. He said, "I know you're worried about your father, but he loved you very much, and so did your mom. He may be crazy, but inside, he's thinking of you." "How?" she said, saddened. "He's not fully crazy. He's still aware, and that awareness is thinking of you. He still loves you, but he can't show it because of Noxon. Don't worry, Sharon. He's always with you, and so are we." Sharon showed a scared look and they went back inside. The Protector continued, "Chain Dweller and Moosely." Sharon made a noise, clapping. "I know someone that can help us," she said, full of cheer. They followed her to a house where Sharon's boyfriend Sam is. "Sam," she said happily. "What, hun?" Sharon said, surprised. After tons of times trying to acknowledge her, she finally asked him to follow her and that we have a problem. His eyes went wide when he saw the creatures. "What are you?" The Protector said, "We are Dr. D's creations from the world of Aethan. We came to help you stop a great evil named Noxon, one of Dr. D's failed experiments. And we need your help," Sharon said sadly, "and my dad." Chapter 5, New Creations from Dr. D. They were talking about Dr. D, of who he is and what he does. They say he's not an actual person, but he is the air and everything in it. He's even the water and the sky. When they were talking, they heard the sound of someone yelling for help. They ran to see what was happening and saw a teenager pulling a man out of the same gas the protector uses to stop criminals. The protector starts pulling him to safety when the girl starts to shake wildly. She collapsed to the floor, yelling for help. Her body started transforming into a lizard-like creature with a human hand for a head, tail, human skin, the body of a Komodo dragon, and human hands on both front legs and back legs. The thing grew eyes on each finger where the nails are supposed to be on the hand head and started chasing them. The thing screeched like wind mixed with a demon. It could run fast. The protector grabbed it by the throat and smashed it to the ground. Sharon was terrified. She couldn't even move. The protector said to them, "Dr. D did it again. Ever since Noxon destroyed everything, his luck has been terrible. We ought to find the flylight." Sharon looks down. He puts his giant hand on her shoulder. After a bit, Sharon took a little walk when she heard rustling in the leaves. She shrugged it off, thinking it was nothing, but then somebody walked up to her. It was a boy. He didn't look so good either. Branches were coming out of his body like a tree. The boy reached for her, saying, "Help me, I don't feel so good." Then he collapsed to the floor, shaking as more branches came out of his skin. He started screaming when his head started growing in size, making a shape of a pumpkin. His skull wasn't. Instead, the skull was just growing in size, until all that was left was a pile of sticks shaped like a giant human with a pumpkin, lying on the ground. She ran crying to the protector, who was starting a campfire. She said in a panicked voice, "Etta, moo, moo." The protector was confused. He looked where she was pointing and saw a tree. He walked over to take a look, but the weird stick man was gone. He looked in her vision in the past few minutes, and it looks like she did see something. He turned around and looked at Sharon, then turned away and ran into the forest. All she could hear was the sound of the protector and sticks being cut. Out of nowhere, the stick creature was flying in the sky and slammed into the grass. The thing stood up and grew its arm so it could reach the protector. He jumped and slashed the arm. It did that 2 more times, then got kicked far away. Sharon was sitting there petrified. He walked up to her and put his giant hand on her chest, calming her. After 2 minutes, Sam came back from getting firewood. Sharon screamed, "Eewoo!" running to Sam. "What happened?" Sam asked with concern. "We had another issue with Dr. D," said the protector. Then a guy came out of nowhere and scared them by saying, "Hi, I'm Mr. D." Sharon's stepfather asked if they could trust him. He said yes. Then Mr. D turned into a very elongated man with an elongated jaw and gray skin. He was about the same size as the protector, 12 feet. "Sorry about the other 2 creatures," said Mr. D. "What are they?" asked Claw Angel. "The stick figure is Brian, and that creature is the Claw Beast." Sharon, deeply concerned, said, "Are we going to save Daddy?" "I don't know for sure, but I hope we do," says the protector. Sharon, her stepfather, stepmother, and her boyfriend got on the bus because they had to find a faster way to the flylight. The creatures had to stay behind so they wouldn't be seen. Sharon looked out the window thinking about her father, when all of a sudden something smashed the front of the bus. She jolted up and saw an end-loader with 1 bucket on top and on the bottom. The thing had 2 eyes on each side of the top bucket. It smashed the bus again with its 2 buckets right after the bus driver honked. It kept doing it over and over again, smashing it to bits. The bus driver screamed and ran out of the bus, so did everybody else. Sharon ran away from it as the end loader roared like a mechanical piece of dread. It chased them until they heard the sound of a T-Rex. Automatically, they knew who it was. The protector came flying in and punched the thing, making it fall over. The protector was looking at the people, but instead of fear, they started clapping. He bowed and took Sharon, stepmom, stepdad, and Sam back to the cave. Late that night, Sharon was asleep and had a dream about a room made entirely out of raw meat. Sticking out of one of the walls was an arm. It was moving. She got scared to get close. She took a deep breath and touched the arm. Swoosh! The arm came flying, and before it could hit her, she woke up, late at night. She was very startled and called the protector, saying that she had a dream of a room made of raw meat. Something came up on TV. A strange figure? It said, "I came to warn you. I tried making monsters that were good but failed every time. Well, not every time. I made Mr. D to help you." In the morning, a kid threw a newspaper that read, "It's stronger than you think. She is the only one who can see the truth." The protector got up to do his duty, protecting humans. When he was walking, he heard a sound of laughter coming from the park. With the protector being the protector, he instantly knew what was happening. Kids were being mean to a poor stranger, calling him Mr. Big and a pig. The guy started twitching, then looking up at them, and screamed at the top of his lungs as his jaw extended 2 times the size of a normal human. He jumped at the kids with incredible speeds, knocking them down to the ground. The protector jumped into action and grabbed the guy by the head, breathed a powerful gas that makes criminals act like a baby, unable to move. He put the guy on his back and flew off. When he got home, he asked Mr. D what that thing was and said, "His name is Fat Fun, a dangerous thing of madness and rage." Chapter 6. The Comic and the Two Shows. Shan was sitting on the couch watching TV, and the protector was talking with her stepdad when something appeared on the screen. It looked like an episode of SpongeBob. "Yay, SpongeBob," she says happily. It started off in the Krusty Krab with a fish eating quietly. SpongeBob asked Squidward, "Who is that fish?" "I don't know and I don't care," says Squidward, who was not paying any attention to his surroundings. SpongeBob just shrugged and walks over to the fish, or frog for that matter. "Hi, I'm SpongeBob," he said happily. The fish jumped out of his seat and backed away slowly, terrified. Mr. Krabs came out of his office asking what the barnacles is going on. The frog screamed and started deforming into a giant version of itself. SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs were screaming, and so were customers. Sharon looked away as the beast tore their limbs apart. She ran to the protector, and he took a look. There it was, a fully transformed beast called the Huguchai, according to Mr. D. Then the show changed and showed a new show that she has never seen before. It said, "Adventures of Hugus the Moose." Then here came Dr. D. He told them to see this episode of Hugus the Moose. They watched it. The show was about him going on an adventure to see a girl named Sharon. Then she transformed into a horrifying beast, and they all looked at Sharon. The next day, they had to come up with a plan to stop Noxon. "Guys, I found this outside," said Mr. D. It was a comic about a superhero named Triblade. It was just a battle against an evil villain named Evil 5, but something was at the back. It said, "Only Sharon can save the day." The protector nodded to everyone. Something stared at them through the window. Chapter 7. The Circus. The protector was out trying to find criminals when he came across a circus tent. He looked inside and saw a guy trying to take a painting. He was going to go inside when fog started rolling in. He heard the sound of a clown laughing. Then out came a grinning entity staring down at the criminal. His teeth were too big for his face, and a giant hat. The collar was shaped like a boat, and a blue shirt/pants. It laughed like an insane clown. Then poof, the criminal was gone and so was the entity. The protector flew home and asked who or what that thing was. Mr. D had no clue. Chapter 7. The Entrance to Athens. The crew were on the journey to try and find the flylight until they saw something crawling right toward them. It was saying, "Help me, I don't feel so good." The protector had recognized him. He was his best friend Hansen. His skin changed. He looked pale and was barfing all over the place. "Don't get close. He's sick ghost," said Mr. D. "Can we save him?" Sharon asked. "No," he said sternly. They slowly walked past him while he was saying, "No, please come back." They were walking when Sharon said, "I feel bad for him." "I know, Sharon, but you can get through it. No matter what happens, we will be with you through it all," said the protector solemnly. "Here it is," said Mr. D. Then the ground started to shake as they hurried in. Sharon was the first to go in. Then was the step-parents, lastly the monsters. When they got to Athens, everything was havoc. The mushrooms and blue trees were gone. All that was left was broken glass and some household items. "What happened to this place?" the stepdad asked. Chapter 8. Safe Hood Dweller. They were looking around when something came from above. It was Hood Dweller. His eyes were gleaming and his grin never faltered. "Daddy!" Sharon called. "Get away from him," the protector said, as he blocked her by his giant arm. She started to cry as he came flying at them. The protector grabbed him by the hood and slammed him to the ground. "Daddy!" Sharon cried. The protector sharpened his claws and Sharon screamed, "No!" In a puff of smoke, she changed. Her arms were replaced by bunny arms with rabbit ears, bunny legs, and her face was human skin. But she screeched and stuck out her claws and kicked the protector square in the face. Then she jumped away. Hood Dweller's eyes opened up and he looked at the protector and everyone else. "What happened? Where's Sharon?" "It's a long story, but we don't have time. We have to save Sharon." "Daughter." Had a muzzle of a bunny. Chapter 9. She saves Athens and Earth. Meanwhile, Sharon runs towards Noxon's lair where he was waiting and bursts in. Before Noxon could speak, she jumps at him and slams Noxon on the wall. He tried zapping her, but it didn't work. Instead, she got stronger and kept slamming him on the wall. For her final moment, she held him up high and kicked Noxon into the water where he evaporated. The sky grew brighter, flowers began to grow, and blue trees, mushrooms came back. Sharon fell to the floor and the protector catched her. She had a rough day. Let her sleep. Meanwhile, there was a dumpster on Earth that held something evil, and it was alive. To be continued.